Ready to transform your look? Today we're going to be diving deep into fashion and how fashion can meet the unique needs of Malaysian women. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Women Talk, and for today's episode I'm especially excited because we're going to be talking about fashion. And who doesn't like to talk about fashion? But not only fashion, we're going to be talking about how to dress the Malaysian women, or fashion for Malaysian women. And joining me today are three dear friends. I've got Tonton Abang Selfie, you no stranger to the fashion industry. You've been in the fashion industry for decades, and your bold Sarawakian prints are just something that people know you by. And then we've got Shomi Gupta, Shomi Izwa, saja je kacau. Shomi Izwa Gupta, KL-born fashion designer that started in the early 2000s. Also always producing bold, contrasting colours and very well known for that. And lastly, we've got Haida Yusof, someone that I've been following on social media. She's a creative stylist, she's a content creator, many things. I think you've dressed Yuna a couple of times as well.
Yes, I did, yes.
And I like your bold fashion sense and how you style.
I like your fashion sense right now.
Oh, thank you. I'm dressed by
Love the
Shomi
colour.
Izwa. Thank you for giving me that opportunity to say that.
Thank you.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you
Yes,
for
thank you for having us.
It's
Yeah,
like a
I'm so
party.
excited.
Yes. I'm excited to have you guys on the show. Let's start with you, Datuk Tom. You know, you're very well known for your cultural elements and modern silhouettes and all that. How do you start doing what you're doing? Where did that idea come from? Is that something that you wanted to do right from the bat, from the beginning?
Yeah, you know, I really wanted to have longevity in the business, really. And when you want to actually design, you want to create, you want to have something that will, like every period, it will just evolve. And the only thing that I could actually think of is like the place where I'm born. I mean, it's so rich with visuals, with culture, with everything. So why not? You know, so I started with the visuals from there, the weaves and everything. And then every season, there's always new things to actually like design from it. And I also love, you know, old silhouettes where you don't use zips and buttons. I don't use fastenings. So there's a lot of tying, there's sarongs, there's like, you know, because I was inspired by the baju kurung, the kimonos, the saris. Everything is just being, you know, tying, and that's how I started.
Very
so it
true.
it's lasted more than 30 years.
It's so true. It's so, for us, I think we like it when it's very easy to wear. The sarong, that is our culture.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, so, Mr. Shobe, you are also very known for your very bold prints. Tell us how you started. I mean, was that the first thing that you did when you first started? With the bold prints, the bold colours and the patterns? Was it different?
I think it's part of my journey of finding my identity as an artist and also a designer. Because growing up, you see what Benya Chandran is, what Tom Abang Selfie is, what Rizalman is, and of course, overseas I grew up with how Gianni Versace was, what Calvin Klein. So I was like, what is my identity? So I think so when you were younger, you're always looking to everything that is from outside.
You know?
You want to be like this. You want to be like from someone from some another country. But at the end of the day, you will dig back to where you come from.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm very lucky because I come from a very rich mixed cultural family heritage background. So my dad comes from Bengal, Calcutta, India. My mom is first generation
hence the
Indonesia,
Gupta.
hence the Gupta. So I'm a Sen Gupta. So I'm like, why do I need to go further when I can see everything happen in the back of my backyard, you know, in my living room? So I have all these aunties from Calcutta wearing matching jewelleries and beautiful saris.
Love that.
And then the Indonesian part, the sarung and the matching selendang. And those days before people were wearing tudung, you know, you have a lot of my all beautiful sanggol style with the cucuk sanggol with
the rose, with the flowers.
So for me, colours and prints is the easiest way for me to tell a story without being, because you need to find a balance. I cannot be too bold and too much print, and I want to put with adventurous silhouettes. It doesn't work like that. So my identity is straightforward silhouettes, but with bold. It could be a bold design, it could be a bold print or color. So to me, it's part of me, part of my identity. Because when people ask what is Shomei, it's always colors, always colors.
I asked you that purposely because I met you in the early 2000s, and your designs were different then. Now I want to go to Haida before we run out of time. Haida, you know, when I look at your social media content, I enjoy what you do. So it's a lot of like putting together very modern pieces as well as fusing it with our cultural pieces. Like, has it always been that way when it first started?
No, obviously, my fashion journey started sort of, I would say early, but also quite late. Early in the sense where when I was younger, my mom was a seamstress. So if I were to join...
That's where it came from.
Yes, and she's very flamboyant with her sewing. So I like to join singing competitions, and I would sing songs, and she's like, okay, what are you singing? So I would say, Siti Nurhaliza, Purnama Merindu. And
this reminds me of Beyonce.
and yeah, she's the Tina Knowles of my household. So she would create like marabou trimmed, I was 9 or 7, and she would create like this hot pink number with marabou trimmings and all that. So I had that flamboyant sense of style growing up. But it wasn't until when I moved to Dubai, I felt like I need to reconnect back to my heritage. You know, when you live abroad, you've seen it all. You've seen the Western aesthetic. Everyone's, everyone can get away with that. But I have yet to see the Nusantara element being, what do you call it, on display in the international stage. At least, not yet.
Yeah.
And therefore, when I style something, not just on myself, but also on my clients, I would tell them, like, look, get this sarong, pair it with a leather jacket or something, or get a kabaya top, wear it with like a tall skirt or something like that, just to kind of like give some sense of identity as a Malaysian, because I'm proud to be Malaysian.
Yeah, because you can tell more stories.
Exactly.
And the conversation starts.
Yeah.
It goes into different lifestyle, and you make friends.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, that's how
it's
a great conversation starter
when you're overseas, and that's something I truly love because. Why are we dressing like the Europeans? First of all, our weather is very different.
Yes, exactly.
But secondly, the beautiful, like our batiks, your Sarakan motifs and everything is just so beautiful to not be worn, and you can mix and match. But we're going to go for a short break. We're going to dive even deeper into that, so don't go anywhere, guys. Welcome back to Women Talk, and we are still talking about fashion and fashion for Malaysian women. It's been so insightful, and that was only just the first segment. But I want to go back to you, Shomei. In the beginning, you mentioned something to do with silhouettes. So we're talking about dressing Malaysian women. Is there a difference when it comes to designing or styling of Malaysian women?
Okay.
In terms of silhouette, because
Okay.
we're all very different from the mat sales, as we call it.
Yeah. But what is Malaysian women also? We need to think about that as well.
We're such a melting pot. How do we define
what is Malaysian woman? So I think the only way is to define it according to what I see. So I think a Malaysian is someone who embraces their neighbours, embraces the neighbours of families' different cultural celebration and identity. So I think that's number one. And of course, second is colours. Because we are Asian, we are living in the tropics, we should be proud of our Nusantara pride and should be proud of our different prints and our beautiful artistry. So I think it's finding that combination of appreciating our identity culturally, but not with a balance of being modern. Like some women are educated, some women works in the city, some women have to do 3 different jobs. It's a balance between that. And it needs to be practical. It needs to be suitable to the weather. So I think these types of element contributes a lot to the silhouette of the wearer.
One thing about wearing clothes, you've got to have the confidence and the comfort.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel happy about something, nothing works.
Yeah.
You know, so I suppose if somebody likes blush pink, it's because they're just so comfortable in it.
Yeah.
And you just have to add a bit of pizzazz to it.
Push the envelope a bit lah.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you
Add
a
in
bit
some
more?
yeah.
Add in another.
Okay, your accessories, your brooches, your croissant, add some colours.
We are so rich in all sorts of adornments since the days of yore, you know. So we should really embrace it and just make modern ones out of those culture that we have.
Yeah. Like I was just mentioning to you, like I like wearing my sarong with the shirt and the jacket, and that's like mixing it up.
Yep.
Oh, talking about that, styling. Is it fun for you? Because coming from Malaysia, like I said, it's a melting pot. So we've got not only the Malay Chinese Indians, we've got the Borneo and then Sarawak and even Sabah.
The Orang Asli as well.
Full of different culture and beauty. Like, do you have fun?
This is why I wanted to get into the business, and I got into this business because I think that I wanted to include a little bit of a colorful variety in how women express themselves, because I was able to just play with everything when I was a kid. You know, my mom, she did not tell me, oh, you have to stick with this color and that color. Even if I did mistakes, she would just say, look, you know that this works for you, stick with it. And if it doesn't, you know, you move along and, you know, experiment something else. So I want to, when I got into this, I wanted to see women to just have fun and experiment with.
I love that.
We are so
and I want to add in,
blessed.
be okay with making fashion mistakes, because then you learn from it.
Yeah.
I did not come from, you know, I did not come, you know, fashionable since I mean, I wish I'm one of those people who just got popped out from my mom.
We wish we were Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Yes, exactly.
But you need to do the mistakes.
But
you need to do all the
that
mistakes.
is how you really find your style identity. And I think that's when you really stood out, you know, from the rest. You know, be able to do that.
And I also believe that what we do is the best lesson for us to know about other people's story, other people's identity, other people's culture.
Yeah.
Because fashion is an everyday conversation if you don't, you notice, you know. So it's an amazing lesson for us to know about other people. Yeah.
I'm really curious to know, how do you create, like, batik cantik? How do you, what is the process of creating all those I want to hear this.
I designed from a white piece of fabric.
Okay.
I've always got involved with weaves. And the first weave I did to actually get inspired by the puak kumbu.
The ikat itself.
Puak kumbu.
The puak kumbu was because I was invited to do a show in Paris in 1987. Wow. And it was like so long ago, and like I couldn't do anything, but I did silk screen. Then I discovered knitting. You know knitting, and that's when I did my knitwear with puak kumbu. So the process was wonderful because then it really looks authentic. And talking about mistakes just now, it was really funny because I tell you something. I had to go to a function and I had these tube dresses out of making them, you know, from knitwear. The puak kumbu was all my knitwear strapless. It was 1992, so it was like people were actually like going strapless and all that.
I'm really interested to hear where this is going.
And I had to go, and all of a sudden I had my showroom at Asiana then, which is at KLCC.
Okay.
You know,
I remember
and
that.
then there was a function at the Mandarin Oriental where I had to attend, and it was with the Queen.
Okay.
And I was wearing a tube thing with a cardigan, which was pretty decent, but it was like up to my mid-calf. And I thought, oh my God, I have to go. I have no time to change. What I did was, I lowered the tube into a skirt. Which hugged so well. And then I made my cardigan into a top, and I put some pins on it so it looks a bit like kabaya. And then I had my organza shawl, and I walked in.
That's a tip right there. That's a tip right there, ladies. You know what? You can always, and nowadays you see a lot of hacks on social media accounts, which is so cool.
Yeah.
We're going to go for another quick break, so don't go anywhere, guys. We're talking about fashion still. Welcome back to Women Talk. So the topic got really, really interesting, and it's just been amazing listening to you guys. So, but Auntie Tom and Shomi, you both have your own brands. Shomi Izwa Gupta, Tom Abang Selfie, and beginning of the show, we're talking about, obviously dressing for Malaysian women and everything. But obviously, when it comes to business, yes, sticking to your cultural roots is important. Like you say, you just look in your backyard. There was just so many inspirations come from there. And Auntie Tom, you talk about your Sarawak cultural motives and all that. But when it comes to obviously running a business, you're not just selling to only Malaysian women. Like you were talking about how you went for expos and stuff and fashion shows outside of the country. Like how do you design something that's still very Malaysian but to a broader audience? How do you find that sweet spot?
I have got my 3 C's, you know. I like comfort.
Okay.
I like contemporary, but I must have chicness.
Chicness.
You know, because if you just be happy with your own motif and things like that, and you don't think of the global market and the chicness of how a Parisian or a New Yorker wants it, you're dead. You got to know what is the current relevancy of those designs and what is chicness to someone who is living in New York or someone who's living in London, you know. But I've always been very, I always love to know what's actually going on. I keep myself relevant. I've been in the business for 40 years. I've been wearing clothes and designing since I'm 7 years old. And you know, it never dies. I wake up in the morning thinking of the colours I'm going to wear for the day. So you have to keep on going that, you know. And it's always like searching for new ideas, but always knowing what other people are doing. I've got a 14-year-old granddaughter, and she teaches me things because she's now into clueless, and she's wearing all these like preppy things. And I say, oh, Nene, I just love this at the moment. So you know, so I'm learning from young people, from older people. And this, you know, it's been the Hari Raya, you know.
Yes.
And I'm so glad because I meet people when I was going to open houses, and I see this lady. She came to me and she said, Dato', I've been watching you on TV since I'm a little girl with my grandmother. And there came the grandmother and her. They were both wearing similar outfits, but they rock it a different way.
Oh, I love that.
So you see, so this is what I'm happy about, because you got to find a system where some people actually want to wear them, and it must be easy, it must be comfortable, it must be using good fabric, but they must feel confident when they actually wear it.
Even with me, when I'm styling, I want them to be comfortable first. And also, you know, you can have the most prettiest outfit or pieces from the wardrobe, but if they put it on and if they don't feel it, if the charisma...
Are you wearing the clothes or the clothes wearing you?
It needs to make sense.
And you know, and all my life, I never asked my clients, even when I was doing couture in the late 80s, I never asked my clients, what do you like? I always say, what do you hate?
Oh yeah, I asked that too.
Actually, that's a really good way, because if you say what you like, then it's limiting.
But I've never given somebody something they don't like. Because I'm always giving them something they like. They actually like. They never receive anything they don't like. You know, and it's put me in a nice positioning, you know, because that's how I deal with my clients. And now that I go ready to wear and I go online, I have strangers wearing my clothes, you know, so that when they come to me and they say like, oh, I'm wearing this one from this one, oh, I'm wearing this one 3 years ago at this Raya. But I said, lovely, because that's what I want. I want it to be classic.
Yes.
For me, my best lesson is to understand the people that are wearing my clothes, because I've been in the business for the last 20 years. So I grew up with the customers, so we started at the same age. So like my girlfriends all like in the 20s, you know. So I evolve according to their lifestyle, the changing of their lifestyle, because and changing of what is popular, what's the most popular workout at the moment, because the silhouette of an era changed to the activities.
I had a problem with Shomei one time. He was doing the arms
Everything
very small. I'm like, Shomei, I do bicep curls.
Let's
make it bigger.
So I don't. So because of like people like you, I communicate with my customers. So I don't do XS anymore. I drop XS.
Exactly.
I added to XL or to XXL because.
And that's how you could cater to
like
Malaysian.
And people like the oversized. I mean,
oversized
style.
I mean,
and understanding.
Look at this.
And understanding the pattern.
Oversized, so flattering.
Oversized.
Like, because I've been so many different sizes. I've got 8 sizes of jeans, which I kept in the museum of my house.
Depending on where you're at, you take it out.
That's also part of making it have more longevity, because you want the same pieces to be worn when they have different sizes. So I learned from that lah. So you put like drawstring stuff, wrap around. So you learn from me. I learn from my customers.
I started my life as an adult with being 48 kilos. And then it multiplied. And then so I have 10 sizes jeans.
Oh, you know, the weight does really fluctuate. But you know what? That's why I love our Malaysian fashion. Because it's sarong, you don't have to worry what's your waist size. What advice would you give to young girls who are just starting into the fashion?
I think...
Or styling lah.
Well, I think really just have fun. Don't, listen
yeah.
to, you can learn about, like for me, I didn't really have a mentor. My mentor was the old pages of Vogue magazine, all those old documentaries about, you know, fashion. Old movies, like Clueless, like your granddaughter's watching, and all these things. I'm a very visual person, and I like to see clothes translate beautifully. You know, how I imagine it, like how you guys imagine on paper. You want it to, you know, reflect that beautifully, you know, on your customer and your wearer. So for me, and I think today, girls today, they are so blessed with so many resources.
And options.
You have TikTok, you have Instagram, that you got people actually teaching you. I'm following like this guy, Ot Le Mode. He's like a very famous fashion critic on Reels or IG, and I'm learning so much from him, like even from old fashion like Elsa Schiaparelli and all that. Like I'm learning about these tidbits. So even as someone like me who only just started to learn about these things, it's never too late to really pick it up. So I wouldn't even just limit it to the young girls.
Not just young girls. Everyone coming out their shell or
Yes.
finding like, you know what, I'm out of this corporate job, I think, and I'm so used to wearing black. What do I do? Be bold. Anyways, thank you so much to my three wonderful guests, Auntie Tom, Haida, and Shome. It's, you know, when it comes to talking about fashion, we can go all night long. But I do have to end the show and thank our audience for watching us till here. Thank you so much and see you guys next week on Women Talk. Thank you.